complaints, stress taking over your life. But how do you handle stress? Do you bottle it up inside? Do you let it simmer all day long? Or you explode the moment you get tense? No matter how you deal with it, some of the best solutions for stress come from the world of alternative medicine. So today, I'm giving you easy and effective alternative secrets to fix your stress forever. But first, I wanted to see what sets you off. Meet Lee, Natasha, and Danielle. I wanted to find out how they react under pressure. So I gave them a special mission to complete 3 stressful tasks within 1 hour.
Your first challenge is to gather these items
For a Dr. Oz approved dinner.
Come on, let's go.
Go put your shoes on.
All right, get your seatbelts on.
Oh, goodness.
Just keep looking at me.
First stop, the supermarket.
Low carb, high fiber, large tortillas.
Where in the world am I gonna find that?
Oh, Lordy.
I just have to go get a price.
Wait, what?
I just have to go get a price.
Okay, no problem.
We just have to wait, sweetie.
Your second challenge is to make healthy chicken quesadillas.
While you fold your laundry and keep your kids busy, play family, house, or kitchen, or whatever it is that you do.
The laundry, if you guys can fold that for me.
But that wasn't all.
Oops, I forgot to mention you'll need cheese for those quesadillas.
Head back to the supermarket and then return home to finish up dinner.
No.
We're running out of time. Hurry up.
Oh my God, is this reduced?
Reduce that. Here we go. This is good.
I'm back.
People, let's go. Look at this, Dr. Oz, just in the nick of time.
It's pretty stressful, but you know what? It's just another day.
Oh, I love that. Y'all reacted so differently to stress. I mean, how'd it go for you, Lee? What's your boiling point? What pushes you over?
When I have to wait in short lines, traffic, with whiny children. Just gets me.
It happens.
It does.
And how do you react to stress? How does your body feel?
I sweat like a mad woman, and if you want to check out my chin, I definitely had some pimples to show it. The makeup lady did a pretty good job, but yeah. And I yell, just explode.
And Danielle, how does your body react when you feel stress?
Well, you know what? I am a mom of 4, and I'm also a school teacher, so I have 20 kids plus my 4. So it's all day. I just simmer all day, so my body gets very, very tense. I get the pain in my neck, my back. I get headaches. It manifests itself in that way.
So you have simmering stress, and you have lots of muscles, aches, and pains.
Absolutely.
You tie the two together.
Absolutely.
All right. And Natasha, let's talk about you a little bit. I noticed that you were the quietest in the package. You're not saying much, but I still sense there's something going on under there. Is that how you normally react to stress?
Yes, I definitely internalize things. I just keep it bottled in, and I get stomach cramps, and I just keep it all in, basically.
So it's not a coincidence we chose the 3 of you. You know, we talk about stress, but stress actually comes in several different forms. And these 3 women, for everybody out there, represent the classic 3 ways that women respond to stress. And you also reflect the classic ways that it impacts on your body. So what if I told you there was one woman who says there's an individual fix for each of you? If anybody out there who can find yourselves in these stories, think you'd be interested in that story?
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Definitely.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
All right, then I want you to meet Holly Lucille.
Stress is killing us, and nobody knows that better than I do, and it's my mission in my practice to change that one person at a time. When I opened my practice, 80% of the women that I saw all had chronic stressors, and they really didn't know it. So high blood pressure, fatigue, and constipation. And it didn't matter what they presented with, whether stomach or digestive issues, fatigue, hormonal imbalances. Chronic stressors are actually contributing to disease. So when people have chronic stressors, there is a vicious cycle that starts to happen, and it's impossible to get out of it. But I have found a way to break that cycle. I can tailor programs to specifically meet their needs. So here's what we're gonna do. That's the key to getting stress under control. Every woman should be empowered to take their health back into their own hands.
Thanks for joining us, Holly. So how does alternative medicine hold the secrets to being able to customize and manage stress, do you feel?
You know, I think the secret and the key that alternative medicine holds is we tend to treat the whole person. So not only how somebody is processing stress on an emotional or mental level, but also identifying how it's affecting them physically. And when you identify and treat the cause, you can taper recommendations for each of the individual cases.
All right, well, so we can start with Lee. That's okay. Sure. So what would you generally recommend for someone like that?
Okay, so, but for her, now, I call this the short fuse syndrome, right? So when you have chronic unrelenting stress, what happens is you just can't take anymore. So the fuse is very, very short, and it's a very inflammatory condition. Cortisol, our stress hormone, very inflammatory hormone, and you tend to get inflammation, therefore sweating, and skin breaks out, rashes, hives, things like that.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Pretty much see yourself in that case.
Yeah.
And Danielle is a simmerer. She's sort of just about to boil over, but it's just percolating at the top. And
Right.
you know, and you get the muscles and aches and pains. So
Yeah.
pull that together for me. The alternative medicine mindset.
Sure. So, Dr. Oz, what happens when somebody just simmers with stress? So it's kind of constantly boiling, boiling, boiling. This creates tension, a decrease in blood flow to the muscles, and you end up with tension headaches and muscle aches, especially in the back and in the neck area.
And finally, Natasha, I think, represents for a lot of folks the fact that they have the stress, but they don't want to show it. So they internalize it. And Natasha was having belly issues. Again, some of the things we see a lot in conventional medicine, but shed some light on this from your perspective.
Right. So, okay, so this is a swallowing. This is a fuse that it gets put out because you keep swallowing the stress. Okay, never goes anywhere. It usually happens to somebody who just thinks it's their job to take it and take it and take it. But it's a problem because in alternative medicine, we call the gut the second brain. So guess what happens? You swallow that stress, you put out your fuse, you never get it out, and you start having digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea. Sometimes irritable bowel syndrome will appear as well.
So what I'd like to do is to show you what happens to your body long term if you don't deal with the stress. Even though your stress looks and feels differently, the long-term impacts on the body actually overlap quite a bit. All right, so come on over for a second. Holly, come join us as well.
All right.
So I've created a little experiment for you all that I think you're going to enjoy. Put your purple gloves on. And Holly and I are just going to observe because this is too dangerous for us to participate in.
Your stress is too dangerous for us.
So it's a very simple experiment. These tubes represent your body. Okay, and you've got fluids in each of your tubes. They're identical. You each have a powder in front of you. That powder represents stress. So each of you have different ways of manifesting that. Lee, your stress is probably going to be breaking out. Or actually, what would be your major stress?
Whiny children and just traffic and short lines.
Perfect. So we're going to see what that does to your body. Danielle, you know, you have stresses that, you know, that manifest in your body with muscle aches and pains.
Right.
But what would be a stress that would push you over the edge?
Push me over the edge, coming home and having to, you know, just do my everyday thing with 4 kids and homework and just them whining at me and, you know, that kind of thing.
Perfect. That'll push a lot of people over. And Natasha, again, you know, we're talking in your case about stomach issues a lot. That's how your body might tell you there's an issue. But what would be the stress that might push you over?
Well, right now, my husband and I were recently laid off, so I feel like that's our, you know, and trying to keep things normal for the kids is very, yeah, you internalize it a lot.
Does your husband internalize it also?
No, he's actually my go-to person. He's very relaxed about, you know, he's like, it is what it is, and we have to solve it. That's it.
So I would like you all to do a little thing, experiment for me. I want you to each take your powder, which again represents cortisol, represents the hormone that surges. Even though it looks different on the outside, that cortisol chemical is still the same. And go ahead and pour it in here. And watch how it's different for each of you. So Lee, yours explodes immediately because yours, that's what you do, right? Now Danielle, you're simmering, but look what happens. The stress ultimately has similar long-term effects. The body can't deal with it. It's destroying the body. And Natasha, yours is very peaceful, very calm on the inside. But I want you to continue to watch that because it's going to continue to rise. And although it takes a little longer to look like Lee's, which is really impressive here, yours will ultimately get to the same place. Because it turns out that no matter how you think you're dealing with stress, your body still has to deal with the fact that it's overwhelmed with cortisol. So it's going to scream to you in different ways to get it under control. And if you don't, you'll all look like Lee at the end of the day, even though it'll take Natasha a few extra minutes to get there. All right, so here's the plan. Here's the reason I'm so passionate about this show, because I know how much stress affects you. A lot of people don't put those pieces together. So today we're customizing it. So we're going to start with Lee, who says she explodes. In fact, we saw her explode when she's stressed out. So how do you normally deal with the stress in your life?
I do try to work out. That's about it. Yeah.
Which is pretty common for a lot of folks. That's why you see people running even when they don't want to.
Yeah.
From alternative medicine expert's perspective, what would you give to someone who's one of these blow-up people when they deal with stress?
Okay, so Dr. Oz, as I mentioned, short fuse syndrome, right? So we need something to lengthen your fuse. And my favorite is Siberian ginseng. You can find it in the health food store as a Luthro, and you can get it in many different forms. But what this does, it's actually indicated for situations where you can't really adapt to stressors. So it helps you adapt mentally, emotionally, physically to stressors. The favorite way that I like to take it, now you can get it in a tincture or in a capsule, but is it in a solid extract? And I like it in a solid extract. Here, I want you to take a taste. And all you need is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. There in Dr. Oz, you can take a taste. The reason I love it...
You go first.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I've done the show long enough to know the guest always goes first.
Right? All right, so how is that? Good. All right, so it's sort of like the consistency of molasses, but the solid extract, it's great because you can take it, keep it in your purse, 1/8 of a teaspoon 3 times a day, but also besides the medicinal effect.
I like this.
Right?
You're right.
How much you get to take?
1/8 of a teaspoon 3 times a day.
Oh, that-
Up to 3 times a day.
Can you take too much?
You know, for your show and the fact that you're on it every day, you can't probably take enough. All right?
A little extra.
So it's an adaptogen. It helps you adapt to stress.
Cheers.
And it starts working immediately because when you start to explode, you need to calm that inflammation right away.
What do you think? Would you carry that around in your purse?
Yeah, sure.
It'll decrease that inflammation, decrease your sweating, and decrease the skin outbreaks.
It's a gift from the show.
Oh, yay.
Enjoy. All right, let's move on to Danielle. Hi, Danielle. So, again, to remind everybody, Danielle's a simmerer.
I am, definitely.
And so the stress still gets to the same point in damaging the body at the end of the day, but it's a different kind of problem, so it requires different solutions. So what would you recommend?
Okay, for somebody who simmers stress like you all throughout the day, just boiling, 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 believe it or not, it's the tried and true vitamin C. Now, vitamin C has actually been proven to decrease the psychological and the physical effects of stress. And so you need stress protection throughout the day because you're just boiling along, right?
Yes, all
That's
day.
why when we're using vitamin C for stress, I recommend a time release. You can take 1,000 milligrams in the morning and you've got stress protection throughout the entire day.
Wow. Now, if you do time release, can you do it in the morning and then at night, or you don't need to do it at night then?
You want
Time
me to?
release, 1 in the morning.
Just one and that's it.
And know
what's
you're
time
getting
release.
protection throughout the day.
You can simmer all day long.
I could simmer all
Thank
day
you
long.
very much. And Natasha, finally. Natasha, who buries her stress and has a lot of stress. So, a very common scenario. Again, we don't want to lump everyone together because that's the whole point of alternative medicine. You can customize things for people for what they need. So what would you recommend for someone like Natasha who's just going to hold it in all the time?
Okay, so swallowing your stress, Natasha, the best thing that I can recommend is something called passion flower. It has the ability to not only ease your mind, but like I said, those digestive complaints, it eases those at the same time. Okay. Passion flower increases a neurotransmitter in your brain that helps you relax. The best way to take it, and you can take this right on your tongue, and if you think it's too strong, you want to take here? Okay. Ready? And?
Oh, it's got a zing
It's
to
got
it.
a zing. You can put it in water if you need to and
Or you
shoot
can
it
put it in
down.
tea.
Or in tea.
You're
in tea
better
that
off
you
just,
like.
if I were you, I'd boil over and then take the other stuff. The Siberian ginseng. Let's see. Can you use the passion flower for your teenagers?
You can use a passion flower for your teenager. Absolutely.
That's what I would definitely do.
Yes. Yes.
Take that for the parents, for the teenagers.
That's right.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.